I'm Kaylee, and today I'm reviewing this huge monster of a book, The Way We Live Now by Anthony Trollope. One of my goals for this year was to read more Anthony Trollope. He's one of my favorite authors, and I just haven't read that much of his other than the Barsetshire Chronicles series. The Way We Live Now is generally considered to be one of his masterpieces. Maybe Dr. Thorne and The Way We Live Now are definitely some of his most popular works. So I decided that this was the time to pick up this humongous honker of a book. It's like 900 pages. It's huge. So I split it up into 50 pages a day, fell behind a little bit and had to read some extra, but I got it read and I enjoyed it so much. Before we dive into all my thoughts about The Way We Live Now, I'm gonna reach back here to our Booktuber Shoutout book and we're gonna shout out somebody randomly. Today's shout out goes to Jackie's Literary Corner. I'll leave a link to their channel in the description, so be sure to go over and subscribe to them. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to this channel and give this video a like if you love Victorian classics, and especially if you love Anthony Trollope. In this book, corruption and vice are rampant among the upper classes in 1870s London, and the lower classes aren't much better. Lady Carberry schemes to get her son married to the wealthiest heiress in London, Miss Melmotte. It doesn't seem to matter to her that her son, Sir Felix, is a selfish rascal with no heart. Mr. Melmotte flaunts his wealth and uses it to manipulate his way into politics, throwing lavish parties and befriending dukes. The only two characters who have some higher morals are Roger Carberry, Lady Carberry's cousin, and Hetta Carberry, Lady Carberry's daughter. Those two believe in honesty and chivalry, while the rest of society has degenerated into power-hungry, money-mad libertines. I really love Trollope's writing style. He begins with a boring, commonplace scene of everyday life, and he gradually builds the tension until you are just hanging on every word. He makes the most mundane things into something monumental. Every little gesture of the characters has meaning. He does tend to draw things out though. This book is certainly long-winded, but there is a satisfaction in all those little details as well. The narration jumps back and forth in time quite a lot, telling what this character is doing from Wednesday morning until Thursday evening, and then we jump back again to Wednesday morning to follow a different character through the same day. And I liked that the scenes were kind of arranged topically in this way. It made it easy to follow all the different storylines of what was happening with different characters. Trollope was a complete genius in his characterizations. He had this special insight into human nature that really shines in his realistic characters. None of the baddies are all bad. Even the worst ones have one or two decent qualities. And none of the good guys are all good. They have their faults and their foibles too. It made it so interesting to gradually discover these hidden depths in each character, because there really is so much there to dive into. Just when you think this guy's the villain and he's completely evil, then there's some other facet of his character that comes forward, some other piece of his personality that makes you think, okay, he's not totally evil, he has like one good thing about him, but he's still evil. But there's just so much depth there. So I'll give you an example of some of Trollope's really great insights into human nature. There's one instance of two characters, a man and a woman, who are quarreling. And later his friend tells him, if you had been unkind, she could have forgiven that. But as you were good-natured and she was cross, she can't forgive that. Isn't that just so true of human nature? If you lost your temper, but the other person took the high road, it's very difficult to swallow your pride and admit that you were in the wrong. But if you had both lost your tempers, then it would be easier to forgive each other. So true. Trollope really knew human nature. There's another place where Trollope talks about people who act like a doormat, just always giving way to others. And he says that sometimes it's not that the person is shy or they're afraid of someone else that has a more dominant personality. Sometimes the person is just so soft-hearted that they can't bear to cause anyone else discomfort or pain. So they give up their own comfort or their own desires because they have an incapability of seeing or even thinking of the troubles of others with equanimity. Such a great insight into this particular character's personality in this book. The story is just full of these little insights into human character. It really makes the characters feel real, like they're just real people. They act and speak and make decisions the way that a real person would. The plot mostly focuses on people swindling each other and grabbing for money or political power, lying about everything, or scheming to get married to someone. Out of all the marriages and engagements in this book, of which there are many, only 4 people actually wish to get married for love. Everybody else is grasping for money or status, and they're using marriage as the means. It's a really interesting exploration of the way that people in this time period seem to think about marriage and status in society and just how they want to live their lives. I can't say that I have a favorite character. By the end of the story, I was just frustrated with everyone for making dumb choices. Even the good guys are not so smart in all their decisions, and I got annoyed with them at times. But I was never bored. I really cared about each of them and was fascinated with the intricacies of their relationships with one another. So although I got frustrated sometimes, I was certainly never bored. The scope of the plot is just colossal. There are so many different groups of people who are all connected by their acquaintances and their family, and each action that they take ends up affecting everyone through these intricate networks of connections between people. And at the center of that web of lies is Mr. Melmotte, a colossal character in himself. I just enjoyed this classic so much. I really adored Trollope's writing, and this is definitely one of his best works. I gave it 5 stars. It is quite a commitment to read 900 something whatever pages that it was, but it was worth every minute of reading. Please leave me a comment and let me know what is one of your favorite really long classics that it's like, okay, it's super long and long-winded and it just drags on forever, but it is so worth it. What is one of your favorites? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.